Hi, I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor.
I'm Pauline Mosley. Welcome.
And today we have a really interesting program. We're going to be talking about hunger in the town of Greenburgh. And sometimes you'd be surprised because you could think that here we're living in a middle class or upper middle class neighborhood. You could think everybody has food. And it turns out there's a lot of people in our community who are hungry and they're not getting food and that they need. And there's an organization in Dobbs Ferry called the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry, and they're there for the community, and they've helped hundreds and hundreds of people over the years with food donations. I remember a couple of years ago I was at a function in Mayfair, Norwood, and there was a gentleman who asked me who he should donate surplus food to, and I suggested the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry. But with us today is Vera Halpenny and Donna Assumma, and they're co-directors of the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell us first a little bit about the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry and where you're located and the hours.
Okay. We're located at 343 Broadway in Dobbs Ferry, and it started about 12 years ago, and at that point currently it's out of the South Presbyterian Church, but it was created as a mission under the pastor then, that was Joe Gilmore. And Molly Rodriguez, who was a congregant, took it upon herself, she's also a social worker, to start the pantry. And back then, there were about 30 families that were coming through to the pantry on a weekly basis. I joined the pantry about 6 years ago, so that was pre-pandemic. And the change has been so significant from that time frame where there was only 30 people. We did everything indoors. It was a really small little setup. And then as the pandemic hit and so many people had so many issues with job loss and things like that, our numbers just skyrocketed to like over 175 people. So at that point with COVID, we had to do everything outside, and there was no way that we were going to be able to do everything inside the church confines with those numbers. So we had to move everything outside, and that's what we currently do. And Donna is really the overseer of all of our outside operations, and it's quite an amazing feat that she does every week. What else would you like to know about the pantry?
Right. So if people want to donate food, how do they do that?
They can write checks to the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry and mail it to that address, 343 Broadway in Dobbs Ferry, 10522. Or we can go online. We do have a site, and that's dobbsferrypantry.org, and there's a donate there. If they would like to do food drives, they can contact us through that website.
Can they donate like canned goods?
Absolutely.
And what type of foods do you accept?
Okay, do you want to handle some of that?
Sure. We have many needs, from diapers, that's expensive for families, so we love diaper drives, paper towels, paper products, hygiene products, food. We take no glass, but cans, tomato sauce, pasta, cereals, anything you could think of. So
why not glass?
Because it's breakable, and we
prefer plastic.
We prefer plastic.
Like peanut butter in plastic jars,
Right.
Canned tuna, you get canned beans.
Right.
We give out dried beans, rice, are real good staples. We do shelf-stable milk. That's our breakfast table with the cereal. And we get donations from Mom's Organic, so that we have an organic table as well.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's
they love
fabulous.
that. I wish we could get more from them, but they've been a really generous supporter.
Right.
We passed a law a couple years ago, the town, that supermarkets have to give surplus food.
Stop and
Shop donates to us. So our food pantry is set up like a farmer's market. We run it with respect and dignity for all of our clients, that it's a place where they're welcomed, they're respected, they're cared for, they're loved. We've started a community, and that's really what we are as volunteers. So it's a sight to behold. If any of you want to just come visit, it's amazing. We have, our first table is a produce table where we have beautiful produce, fresh vegetables and fresh fruit. and our clients can select what they want.
Choice
rather
is
than
everything now.
choices.
Yeah.
And then we have a breakfast. Every table has a tablecloth on it. We all wear name tags. We have music playing, and we make it a good experience where it can happen to anybody. You have 4 children, and one of the spouses, one of the parents loses their job, and all of a sudden, the first thing they need is food.
And quite honestly, we have a lot of seniors that say,
Yes.
you know, I can't afford food the last week of the month. My Social Security just doesn't cover it. So, you know, we're a godsend to those individuals. We have a lot of seniors that we serve as well.
So people shouldn't be embarrassed.
Absolutely
Never.
not.
Do some people, have you had situations where they may call, but they're ashamed to stop by at hours where other people could see them? Or
No, we have people that register pretty much on a weekly basis, new registration. And all we ask is that we have an attestation that tells us that you make this amount of money and this is the size of your family, and if that you meet those guidelines and you live in our catchment area, which is beyond Dobbs, but it's also Ardsley and Irvington, parts of Greenburgh. If you meet those requirements, you are welcome here, and we really try to make it a great experience from day one.
That's fabulous. Can you, I know before the show, Donna, you were telling me about the dancing. And I think that is so fabulous because many times, as Paul was saying, when individuals come to a food pantry, there is some anxiety or anxiousness. They feel they're going to be judged. You know, why are you getting this food? And sometimes their heads are held low because, you know, they're ashamed that they have to seek a handout. But here you've like transformed this whole experience to something warm and comforting and almost holistic while they're in this temporary, you know, position. So could you elaborate a little bit more on the dancing and what you do to bring
It
about?
is holistic. I love that word.
It is holistic.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
firstly, you know,
please.
we have a line out front. We're always greeting them. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy. The weather's beautiful today. And we're there 52 weeks a year, rain, snow, heat, doesn't matter, we're there.
Wow.
And it's our honor to serve them. And that's how we present ourselves. We have amazing volunteers, which we wouldn't be successful without the people that work with us. And I'm honored to, and Vera, we're honored to work
Very
with
much.
the volunteers we have. They're unbelievable, so dedicated. So we really created this environment that we all love each other, and we really care about our clients.
And, and every year we try to get some feedback from the people that we
Right.
serve. And we have a survey, and we ask them 2 simple questions. What are we doing well, and what could we do better? And 99% of them say the staff, the volunteers, they're warm, they're caring, they're friendly. They make my day. So it is really the heart of the volunteers. It's really the heart of the pantry.
if people want to like cook a meal, you don't accept that, right?
No.
It has to be
We're
canned
not
goods.
certified to give out cooked
Right,
meals.
right.
That's a soup kitchen. We are a food pantry. It's a very
Right.
different distinction.
And does the county board of health like monitor?
We do get annual audit, and we have to comply with a number of regulations. Absolutely.
Well,
And it's not just do it if you want,
Right,
but you
right.
really have to make sure that you're following the guidelines because we're getting government money. We're getting from Feeding America, it goes down to Feeding Westchester, and that U.S. government involvement filters down into each and every pantry.
and you mentioned you're getting government funding. How much does it cost to operate a?
We don't get funding through the government. We get it through Feeding Westchester, which is government funded. So on a weekly basis, we get deliveries of food pantry, pallets of food, and we can shop on their shopping list. And we want, this week we're interested in having soups and this and this and this, and then they will deliver it to the food pantry, and then we'll distribute it from our site to the people. That's how the money kind of flows. It doesn't go to us. It goes through the food banks.
Right. And we have supplemental things. We have Panera donates to us. So every Wednesday morning, we take a ride down to Central Avenue, pick up Panera, bring it to the pantry.
Oh,
we
that's
have
great.
We have Sunshine and the shop in Ardsley that donate bagels and donuts to us. We have Mom's Organic that donates to us. Stop and Shop donates to us. The temple.
So Beth Shalom Temple in Hastings, on a weekly basis, donates a produce item to us that augments what we then have. We don't have to purchase, because we also purchase food. You know, what we get from Feeding Westchester is never really enough. So we then have to use our money and shop from vendors to get the additional produce that we require and that we want our individuals to get.
Right. How many paid staff people do you have?
We have no paid.
No
We
paid
have
staff.
absolutely no AO.
Wow.
No administrative overhead. Total volunteers.
That's amazing.
Yes,
That
it is.
is amazing.
So-
You're such an example of kindness and of love, you know, and you're doing this on the church. So I just find it so remarkable that as congregants of your church, you're extending yourself into the community, and you're just being a role model for so many other houses of worship to really care about the community. It's not like you have to be a member of the church or you're trying to solicit.
Most of our volunteers are not members of the church.
Really?
A couple of them are, but you know, we come from
they're
all
from the
different
pantry,
backgrounds,
right.
and
That's
you know, we're just a
amazing.
melting pot of everything.
But I knew Joe Gilmore when I first
you
started.
did?
He was the pastor of
Yep.
the church, and he started the Midnight Run
Yep.
Program.
He was
and
very
was
passionate,
a very passionate activist. He basically really had a very kind heart, but he put everybody to shame because he basically made everybody feel guilty that they weren't doing enough. Unfortunately, he passed away recently, or relatively recently. But he was really a role model, and South Presbyterian Church was always in the forefront of progressiveness, way ahead of like everybody. They were actually involved even fighting against slavery years ago. I wanted to know.
I think he'd be proud of us.
Yes, you continue
would.
his legacy.
We have 25 plus
Absolutely.
volunteers.
Wow.
We have to turn away people because we trip over each other sometimes. Like
That's
I have to
amazing.
double up on tables, but what I also love is we have an agreement or a connection with the high school, Dobbs Ferry High School. So we get high school students all summer long. And what's more remarkable, so they'd have to do it for credit or
Right, they get
whatever.
community credit.
They have community credit. But what I do love is they come back while they're in college where they're not getting credit. They just love being there. And here they are learning from the seniors, the senior volunteers, that we're passing it down to the next generation, giving back because you should, not because you're getting paid.
And I think the public needs to know that every
Yes.
dollar that they send to us is going to serve
100%.
100%. There's no money being diverted.
Which is really
That's
great because
fabulous.
sometimes you
That's really
you
fabulous.
donate to a charity and it basically is going to pay for an executive
salaries.
director.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that really makes a big difference. I also worked a little bit with Molly Rodriguez, who really was your
And her husband, Benny, yeah.
and they did so much for the food pantry, and you couldn't do anything in Dobbs Ferry unless you supported the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry. I wanted to ask you, so she is like I always said, like American version of Mother Teresa. So, but I just wanted to ask what got you involved and why you're so passionate about this, and have you been involved in other, have you been an activist all your life, or is this?
Well, I've been a social worker all my life, so I've always worked for not-for-profits. I worked with the developmentally disabled individuals for 40 years. And once I stepped away from that, I figured I can't just stop doing good work. So one of my neighbors was Molly, and she asked me to join the pantry, and I said, sounds good to me. And just meeting the people back then, there was only like about 7 of us that were part of the pantry, all good people. And then as it evolved, just stayed with all the good people and got even better people. So that's really where I came from.
And what got you involved?
I was I'm at the pantry about 4 years. In February, it'll be 4 years. I was in media. I worked for Disney for 32 years. Loved my job, had a great career. And I left Disney in February. I started at the pantry the next week. And that was it. I loved it. But I have done volunteer work all my life. I worked at Blythedale Children's Hospital reading to kids at night. I worked with ECAD training service dogs with my kids. I adopted 2 children from China as a single mom. So I want them to know to give back. And so we did that. We trained service dogs. And the pantry is now such a passion for all of us. It's really a sight to behold. And that's how all of our volunteers feel. It's great.
You're both smiling a lot.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if there's like a lesson, if people give back, is that like as much of a reward
Totally.
as making a lot of money?
Our volunteer, yes, I do miss my money, okay? Let's be clear about that. I miss a salary. But the wealth that we get from giving back and seeing, we do have dancing in the aisles with the music, and we have children that are with their parents, and you never want them to feel like this is a place, should I be ashamed or ever. We always take one of the kids and ask the parents, can I bring them over to the Panera table, pick out a sweet. We've gotten to know them so well. It's a community, not only with the volunteers, and our volunteers get so much out of it. It's as much of a meaning to them as it is to our clients that we serve.
And I think we're showing acts of kindness all the time,
Yes.
by doing this.
You don't even
and
know.
There's this little Ukrainian girl who, whenever she comes with her grandfather, gives me 2 little pieces of candy because she wants to give back at the same time.
That's good. I was going to ask a sort of a related question. I remember when I was a county legislator, I had formed a group called the Have a Heart for the Homeless Committee, and we helped people. We raised money for families on the verge of being evicted, and one year I gave somebody $500 to avoid being evicted, and maybe a year later she came back and she gave a $500 donation. Do you have? And I was like really surprised because usually when you help people who were facing eviction, you didn't expect anything in return.
Exactly.
But I'm sort of wondering if you've had situations where people you've helped, got back on their feet and then they became volunteers. Have you had that yet, or?
They have, yeah. They have, few and far between. We had one individual that moved away from us and was no longer coming. And his parting gift he was an artist. His parting gift to us was a beautiful portrait of, the scenery around Dobbs Ferry. So, and he was also a poet. He wrote some poetry. So there was a little book that he gave us. So they give him the way that they can. They really do.
They really do. There's one woman that used to bring us the iced tea for it's very hot. I mean, we're out there all day. And we have a lot of giving back. And I also want to mention another little girl who her mom was so proud of her because she's doing so well at school. She goes to the Ardsley schools. And Mayor Cablevision heard about her and how proud we were of her. This little girl, she's reading, she's writing, she's in kindergarten, and she made her mayor for the day. Oh. So these are little things that
we are all
make
connected.
a difference.
We're all
connected.
Yes.
It's really something.
That is that is really amazing. I'm really impressed. Any other interesting?
We worked with the Ardsley Motel.
I was just going to ask that question because I remember last year when you had a number of migrants coming here.
Right. We worked with them.
Are you still helping them?
Well, we worked with them, and then we got Feeding Westchester to move in and do a mobile unit right to the motel because for them, they didn't have any transportation. For them to get from Ardsley Motel all the way down into Dobbs Ferry, Center was a lot. So we actually advocated for them, and we got Feeding Westchester to deal with them directly.
But we had coat drives for them. We had food
Got
drives,
barbecues for them.
barbecues, 4 grills, and the district
Incredible.
leaders. You know what? This is what's so wonderful about volunteering. All you have to do is ask each group for certain things you need. People are, when they say it takes a village, the village of Dobbs Ferry just steps up. And with the migrants, I asked the district leaders for help with grills. We got 4 grills in one weekend.
Wow.
Baby clothes, anything we were asking for, we were getting.
And there's a network of people that do good deeds and that we're
Yes.
connected with. So we have Bundles of Joy, which is an organization that does diaper drives, and baby wipes were huge items. So we get that.
Family to family.
Family to family, Sharing Shelf. These are all great organizations. Actually, I connected with Bombas, and they give us on an annual basis 1,000 pairs of socks, which I then also share with Midnight Run, so that Dale can take that into the city for the people that are homeless in the city.
I have a question. So how do you find or seek out these families in need? Or is it just
They
word of
find us.
mouth?
Yeah, it's word of mouth. They see us out there. Some of us, they just come up and ask us about it. Well, I see these lines. What are you doing up here?
Oh, so there's no sign out there.
They just no. We don't have.
I see,
food.
that's-
It is listed in the
I
front
see.
on the church
Right.
roster that's out in
Right.
front. What is provided through the church, but it's really I think word of
Fabulous.
mouth. So.
Wow.
And we also have very generous volunteers as well that not only serve but then donate to the church or to our pantry. And we have one volunteer who gets us all CVS. She coats, and she's just a very generous person. She doesn't volunteer with us every week,
Right.
but it's a
Her
couple of
entire
times a year
family
that
comes a couple of times a year and puts together certain bags. They really kind of, in the summer, because school is not in, there's no lunches, so we actually pack supplemental bags for all those people that have kids that are in school. So she will do some of that with her family over the summer.
And they're called SOS bags, so that it has soup, it has mac and cheese, things that kids can make on their own.
Right.
One of the
jelly.
things that's nice about Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry is it's very easy for people to donate around Thanksgiving or during Christmas. People want to donate, but the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry is there for the community all year round. And do you find that, like during, say, the Thanksgiving season or Christmas, you get a lot of extra food and
Well,
donations?
we get a lot of good donations that time so that they can declare it on their taxes, I think,
Right.
donation credit. So that's always a nice boost.
Yes.
But we do specific drives with certain parts of the community to do pies and certain other things for Christmas that are special items, canned hams and things like that.
Hutco
You
donated.
made that connection with
Yeah,
Hutco.
Hutco donated hams to us probably, and we're actually having a meeting coming up to discuss what we need for the holidays. We need pies for Thanksgiving.
But the
and
pies can't be
Christmas.
donated by individuals. It has to be donated from the restaurants.
We
or,
need
Right.
100 pies, basically.
right. But if I want to,
120.
if
No, they should be packaged pies.
they have to be packaged.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
right.
No home baked goods.
Right. Could you see the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry ever evolving and accepting, home cooking, or would it be too risky?
Too risky.
Yeah.
It's,
You have to be certified in so many different ways, and clearly,
a health hazard.
yeah.
Right. Are there any other, I've always recommended Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry to all my constituents when people contact me, but are there other food pantries in this area that I can say are competitors, but are also worth recommending?
Well, I know there's one in Hastings. Irvington doesn't have one, and that's why we serve Irvington, and Ardsley does not have one. That's why we serve those, and parts of Greenburgh don't. And my understanding is that Hastings does only by appointment, and they're funded through Hastings' budget. So they actually have somebody that is paid to monitor and to distribute food there.
So maybe what I should do is on the town website, like list, how people could, what type of donations you need, and what people could do if they want to help out.
Yeah, our number one need is always money. Because
Yes.
then we have the flexibility.
Right.
Oh my God, we ran out of diapers.
Right.
Let's run out and get some
Right,
diapers.
right.
We don't have enough produce. We have to run out and get that. If they don't want to give the money, then they can organize a food drive, which actually helps spread the word. Talking to their friends. Oh, I'm doing this food. Oh, there's Dobbs Ferry Food Drive. Oh, that's great. So that's another way to just get our message
So
out
maybe
to more people.
have you reached out like to high school key clubs and asked
Yes.
them to
Yeah.
organize
They've
events?
done
Boy
that.
Scouts, Girl Scouts,
Yes.
they've done drives for us. Elmswood Day Camp did a drive for us this August. Was the hugest one that we've ever had. I'm so impressed with Nora Cohen, who organized it. Special thanks to her. She's done a great job for us, and this is not the first time she's done it. So it's real. And now all of her campers' parents know about us, which
Yeah.
could then
Yeah,
in turn bring
exactly.
in more money.
We have really, I think, exploded in our town where people know about the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry and know that with the work we're doing, and they're proud of us, and we're proud to be a part of it.
People that have moved out of Dobbs Ferry still send us money from like North Carolina or wherever they've moved
Oh,
to.
my.
So that's
So,
also
so
nice.
you basically
We have alumni.
Yeah, that's fabulous. What a fabulous model.
so you basically have a positive outlook about the human race. We read all these.
We
negative-
try to. We try
read
to.
all these negative stories.
Yeah,
in the media.
that's all nonsense.
We want to bring a little joy.
Most people are good.
That's
People are
great.
good.
We have to think that.
That's great. So we just have like another minute or so. Could you tell people again how they could contact the Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry?
Please go to dobbsferrypantry.org. We have a website that has all of our information. We also do a monthly newsletter that is archived there. So you can read months and months of really great stories. It has lots of pictures, so it's a little entertaining. And the other way is to send a check to Dobbs Ferry Food Pantry, and the address would be 343 Broadway, Dobbs Ferry, 10522.
And if people are in need of food, what's the hours?
We do every Wednesday morning. We open at 10:30 and we close at 12. And then the last Wednesday of every month, we are also open in the evening from 5:30 to 7.
And do people have to make an appointment?
Nope. Come and we will serve you during those hours.
That is great. Well, thank you. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having
Thank you for
us.
what
so
you're
much.
doing.
This was fun.
And I think it's really fantastic that you're one of the rare charities that have no paid staff,
That's
and
it. No way.
100%
No way.
of every donation goes directly to those who need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is really excellent.
We're very
to
proud
know.
of that. We're very proud.
You should be
of
proud of
You
that.
should be.
There's-
Devoted volunteers. They're so devoted.
That's great. Terrific. So thank you so much, and we're very fortunate to have you in the community.
Yes.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.